This episode today is laser focused, yes it is, laser focused on the Advance Paris X CD9 CD player that, yes, can be used as a transport, a CD transport, but I mostly listen to it as a all-in-one CD player because I have a feeling that's how most of the people that buy this thing will use it as a CD player. Oh, before I go any further, yes, there will be an Audiophiliac viewer system of the day later on in today's show at the end there. So please stick around for that. But anyway, I have seen Advance Paris popping up at shows for the last bunch of years, and I was always impressed by the look and the sound, but it wasn't until this one with the X CD9 that I decided to, let's say, pull the trigger and do a review. And one of the things that put me over the line was that it's a tube CD player. And those go all the way back to the 80s with tube CD players. Not so much lately. But anyway, the tube itself, which is peeking through the front panel way over there on the right through a red filter for some reason. Anyway, it's a new old stock US made tube by Raytheon. It is a 5744. And tubes don't last forever, but these tubes are widely available on the internet. Not a hassle to replace them, but I think the way they're being used, they will last a very long time, and they are inexpensive. So don't worry about the tubes themselves wearing out or being stuck. Not a problem. Oh, and I love the look. It's very sleek, very shiny, black, understated look. It's just going to be there living on your shelf and making the music happen. Now, I will say right away, I got to bring this up because it's a point of contention for me, that the remote for the player is plastic. Yeah, shiny plastic. I mean, it looks okay. Other little things that bug me is that the tray itself, it opens and closes very fast. If you're not quick on the button there, the tray's going to be closed by the time you want to put the CD in the tray. So you got to develop your reflexes to keep up with this tray. So here's something I have to bring up early in the review and talk about the CD format itself. It's 43 years old, and if I did my math correctly, that means it came out in 1982. It was basically the first successful consumer digital format. It was a really big deal back in the 80s, and it's still around, and practically every new piece of music that comes out is available on CD. A lot comes out on LP, but I'm pretty sure there's more coming out on CD than LP. So the format is a very viable format. I own thousands of CDs. I keep going on how much I love analog, but I do play a lot of digital, that is, in terms of CDs, as the other format that I actually listen to. I don't listen to streaming. I use streaming for background, and I use streaming to discover new music. But in terms of me actually sitting and listening, no, I'm either listening to CDs or I'm listening to LPs. The other stuff is just behind me, so to speak, in the background. Hey, I want to show you the backside of the XA-CD9 and point out that it has XLR and RCA outputs. And if you're going to use it as a CD transport, you will be hooking up either the coaxial or optical outputs. So now I want to show you the inside of this machine, and note that it's pretty jam-packed in there, and there is a healthy sized toroidal power transformer. It's hard to show you the tubes in there. You can see them through the little window in the front, but actually looking at the top, they're not that visible. The tray itself is plastic. No surprise, it almost always is in players of this price. Oh, forgot to tell you the price. The price is $1,399. For most of my listening time, I was listening to the XCD9 as a CD player, but I did spend some time listening to it as a CD transport with coaxial output hooked up to my Denafreps Aries DAC. Now this is an original DAC, an original Aries I should say. Maybe it's 5 or 6 years old. It's been around the block a bunch of times, still sounds fantastic. So I did that comparison, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. Just listening to the XCD9 on its own, I love the sound. It's a very high-end, it's a sophisticated sound. It's sweet, it's warm, it's got plenty of detail. bass response was really clear and clean. I just kept playing one CD after another, taking my notes and thinking, this is good. Now, I'm usually listening to transports and DACs, and it didn't feel like I was like coming down to listen to just an all-in-one $1,400 CD player. No, the XCD9 was definitely keeping my interest, and that's an important thing, because the one thing that fails for me with digital is when it is boring. It's not that it sounds too hard or too bright or too this or too that, but when digital is bad for me, for Steve, what that usually means is I'm bored, I want to do something else and not listen to music, or I want to listen to LPs. But in this case, no, the XCD9 kept pulling me into play one CD after another. And one of the CDs, lucky me, that I just happened to play first was this one by this band called Treat Her Right, out of Boston. And the thing about Treat Her Right is that they eventually, Mark Sandman, the leader of Treat Her Right, eventually formed Morphine. And it's the band called Morphine. But this band, it was kind of like Morphine, but more punk, more attitude, more edge, more bluesy. It was like a harder rock sound than Morphine. And the way they did this Dylan song, Ballad from a Buick 6, is that called? Yeah, Ballad from a Buick 6, is just so, they, you know what it is? They reinvent the Dylan song and make it into a rock song. And it's just so cool. Now, originally, I was just streaming Treat Her Right, but I liked it so much, I wanted to buy the LP, but as it turns out, there was never an LP press, as far as I can tell. So I bought this CD, and I am so happy. I think it's really, really good, because it's like this different version of Morphine. Same lead singer, same composer. He plays bass, sometimes two-string bass. Anyway, cool band. If you ever liked Morphine and you never heard Treat Her Right, you will love this album. I pretty much guarantee it. Now, I really like the sound of this CD. It really kicks, it moves, it just gets your juices flowing, and that's what I want. Have you noticed these speakers that are looming behind me? These are SVS Ultra Evolution Pinnacles, tower speakers. Each speaker has 4 8-inch woofers, so it's 8 per pair of speakers. They make some bass, not surprisingly, since SVS is known primarily as a subwoofer manufacturer. And here I am listening to these speakers, and I'm thinking to the XCD9 through these guys, and I'm thinking, there's some real muscularity going on in the low end of the sound that I'm getting from the XCD9. But was it really the XC9, or is it just this speaker makes a lot of bass? That is a fair question. So I did a comparison between the XCD9 and the XCD9 uses a transport with the Denafreps Aries DAC. And that was interesting. If it wasn't interesting, I wouldn't be telling you about it. But it was interesting because what I heard was that the bass with the Aries DAC in play was a little more, tighter, faster, cleaner, and the bass coming out of the XCD9 had plenty of impact and power, but it just wasn't quite as nimble. And then there was a bit more dimensionality to the sound when I took the Denafreps out of the system and just listened to the XCD9 as an all-in-one CD player. But I would say, more importantly, the differences between the XCD9 on its own versus using it as a transport with the Denafreps DAC were small, smaller than I would have anticipated, because the Denafreps Aries is so good. It usually blows away the competition, and in this case, it didn't. It was neck and neck at times, but in the end, I had to give the win overall to the Denafreps Aries, but not by much. Now, the next piece of music I played was this 2-CD set, the soundtrack for Hair, the Broadway rock musical, the original, the very first rock musical. And the reason it's 2 CDs is because there was 2 versions of this musical. The first one is the off-Broadway version of Hair, and the second one is the Broadway version of Hair. So the off-Broadway version is some more of a stripped down, a bit more rock edge to it than the Broadway version, but they're both absolutely fantastic. And incredibly enough, They were recorded a year apart because it took a year to go from off-Broadway to on-Broadway. And they were both recorded at RCA Studios in New York City, where I had worked many times when I was working for Chesky Records. So I knew the sound of those studios. And I'm listening to these musicals. By the way, both of them, with big production, lots of singers, a rock band, all that stuff. Both of them, each individually, were recorded in one day each, a year apart. Because in those days, they could just knock out music. They didn't need to do overdubs and go back and try this. No, they went in, they played the music, and they were done. Because this is pretty elaborate orchestration to do so quickly, but they did, because that's the way it worked in the old days. Anyway, both of them sound really good. Because these were not, massively overproduced. You feel like you're hearing people playing together and singing in a large studio. And the XCD9 was giving me the goods. Now this last recording I'm going to talk about is from Niels Fromm. It's a solo piano recording, but it's a very special piano. It's an unusually mic'd piano. The microphones are very, very close to the strings. You really hear like you're inside the piano. It's hyper detailed. You almost feel like you could reach out and touch the instrument itself. There's some low bass notes on some of the tracks that are just making these speakers really just move the air in this room. Niels' sound is so different than everybody else. I'm attracted just because it's, unique. And I want to hear that uber detail coming off this CD. And the XCD9 was doing the job. So we will move right into, so Steve, what do you really think of the Advance Paris X CD9 CD player? Well, I guess it depends on where you stand in your relationship with CDs. If you already have a significant collection of CDs, but you're looking for something new, or your old one's on its last legs, and you're looking for maybe a transport, but maybe you'll be okay with a CD player, this is the way to go, because it covers you in both sides. If you just want to continue with it as an all-in-one CD player, it'll do well. It'll do very well. But if you want to dabble in external DACs, you can go that way. And buying used CDs, this is a great time to buy used CDs because people are dumping their CD collections for whatever reason. So the value, you can buy great used CDs for not very much money. It's kind of like the days when people were dumping their LPs because they were buying CD players. Now we're on the other end of this story where people are dumping their CD collections and the value of the used CDs has gone down. So you can amass a large CD collection for not a lot of money. So if that's what's going down, the Advance Paris X CD9 would be the obvious ticket. And now let's go on to, you know it. You absolutely love it. For many people, this is their favorite part of the show. The Audiophiliac viewer system of the day. Hey, this one from Gregory stopped me in my tracks. The speakers are DIY. It's a three-way horn system, and they're made from a mixture of 1-inch birch ply and 1-inch thick solid wood. It was built as a father and son project with Greg and his dad. Designed by Gregory and Joseph Crow Audio. Powering the system are Hypex FA123 plate amps. The preamp is a Schiit Saga. Phonostage is a Schiit Skull. Turntable, Riga P6. Cartridge, Nagaoka MP200. And Greg's not done. No, he's going to do a 300B preamp and also a tube phonostage. Thank you, Greg. We are back. My name is Steve Guttenberg. It is so true. I am the Audiophiliac. I love my job. I love telling you guys about cool stuff. If you dig the channel and you'd like to support it, well, the first thing you can do is hit that subscribe button. If you like a given video, please hit the like button. And if you want to keep this thing going for as long as I can muster it, please consider joining my Patreon. Super easy to do, you know the drill. You can join for a couple of bucks a month, up to $50 or $100 a month. And at those top two tiers, you and I will have an in-depth conversation, one-on-one conversation every month that never gets old. I've been having these conversations for many years now, and I relish them. I truly do. There's certain people out there, you know who you are. I look forward to doing those calls. So anyway, if you'd like to join that party, check it out. Now, if you want to just join for a month or so and then bail, that's cool, not a problem. Anyway, my work here is at last complete. Thank you again for watching. And I truly do hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.